someone found a severed human leg at Warnimont Park in Cudahy.
He responded to the Warnimont Golf Course parking lot. Two males who stated they found a leg in the bra by the water.
Milwaukee County prosecutors are working to strengthen their case against the man police are calling a person of interest. Tuesday morning, the district attorney's office confirmed Maxwell Anderson appeared in court in connection with the severed human leg case. Fox 6 has learned Anderson was arrested after authorities searched his home on South 39th Street. Prosecutors asked the court commissioner for more time to make a charging decision and to keep him in custody while they do so. A prosecutor wants to review blood evidence results. A court commissioner granted a 72-hour extension. This development comes as police investigate other human remains being found in the city.
It's crazy. It's very shocking over, in the city, anywhere, period, but it's very shocking.
Jamel Matthews lives not far from 31st and Galena, where Milwaukee police found body parts and human remains over the weekend. Family members of missing Milwaukee woman Sade Robinson have searched the area and fear it could be connected to her disappearance.
Always, making feel people welcomed. She looked out for my baby. The least I could do is look out for her mama's baby.
We need to do whatever we can to bring her home. Until we find out what we need to find out, we just come out and you just keep pushing forward, and we let the experts come and decide, determine what they know, and we're just the eyes and the ears on the ground.
On Thursday, the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office revealed that more human remains were found on a remote stretch of tree-lined beach near Lake Michigan. And investigators believe those remains belong to the 19-year-old who was killed and dismembered earlier this month. 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson, all stemming from Robinson's death. Now, the two went out on a first date on April the 1st, and since then, Robinson's body parts have been found in several locations. For more on this case and the ongoing investigation, let's take you now to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we find Scripps News investigative reporter Jenna Ray, who joins us live with the very latest. Jenna, good morning to you. Milwaukee police announced more human remains recently discovered, as you know. Share with us, if you would, please, the very latest on that development.
That's exactly right, Julie, and it's a case that's really been rocking the community here in Milwaukee and beyond. Today is the first time that sheriff's deputies are telling us they're actually going to be getting in Lake Michigan and in the water, and crews will use sonar to search Lake Michigan and the shoreline for other missing body parts. As you mentioned earlier, the latest update came in yesterday morning out of the city of South Milwaukee. It's about 20 minutes south of the city of Milwaukee. We're told someone was walking along a shoreline on a pretty remote beach here on Lake Michigan. They found a torso and a leg, called 911, and Sheriff's Office investigators came out right away. Within hours, it was confirmed both body parts did belong to Sade Robinson. Now, several hours after that finding, her friends and family and volunteers in the community came out to that area to search again. They've been issuing these search efforts for the last 3 weeks now and have been turning up body parts during those searches. Now, it's important to note that the area where they found the torso and the leg yesterday were actually not part of the investigation that we had previously learned last week. Her phone was pinged in several different locations. Investigators found her phone in several locations across the entire county, but the specific location yesterday was not one of those locations where her phone was pinged, so it's still unclear how those body parts got there. As you mentioned, the person in custody and who's now charged is Maxwell Anderson, and he was taken into custody pretty early into this investigation.
Right. Jenna, I wanted to ask you if you and your team there on the ground have learned anything more about this guy. As we've been really trying to dig into his past and looking at what we've been able to see from his record, it didn't seem like there was anything in his past that would really raise any red flags.
The only thing that raised some red flags for us were a couple of convictions of disorderly conduct. So he did plead guilty to 3 separate convictions and charges of disorderly conduct. He also has a few convictions involving intimidating a witness as well. He was actually very well known in the community here in Milwaukee, and that's what we've been learning over the last 3 weeks since Maxwell Anderson was taken into custody. So he was first taken into custody with no charges. So he was being able to be held by police for just a specific specific amount of time. And we've learned he was heavily involved in the restaurant community here in Milwaukee. He worked at several popular bars, restaurants, and even concert venues in the city. Again, we mentioned those previous court records show that he had pleaded guilty to separate counts of disorderly conduct, and that's where that kind of tracks back to the now charges that he's facing. You mentioned intentional homicide, that charge. He's also facing the charge of mutilating a corpse, as well as arson, as investigators believe he actually burned Sade's car with her clothes that she was wearing that night of their first date.
Oh, it's so devastating, as you know. Scripps News Milwaukee investigative journalist Jenna Ray, thank you so much for this information. We hope to talk to you again about this case very soon.
Carlos Robinson lives in Florida, but his heart is right here in Milwaukee with his daughter Sade Robinson as the search for her remains continues.
Looking for her head and her arm.
Holding back tears. With each breath, Carlos Robinson is uttering words no father wishes to speak.
A parent to have to deal with this type of trauma and tragedy is inconceivable. It's almost like I wake up to live in a nightmare every day.
He's living with the haunting image of his daughter, 19-year-old Sade Carlina Robinson's death. Authorities say she was killed and dismembered while on a first date with 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson. Do you know how Sade met Maxwell Anderson?
No, I don't know for sure. He's definitely not my daughter's type. I don't know. I got so many questions I can't answer.
Robinson was last seen on April 1st. The next day, a severed leg was found in Warnimont Park in Cudahy. Her father says he was in disbelief when her mother called him in Florida.
They came here to get my DNA to match up. I was hoping that it wasn't her, what they found.
Sadly, it was Sade's leg. Her car was found torched, and in the coming weeks, more body parts would be discovered across Milwaukee County. What is it like every time they find a body part to get that notification?
It's like I want to know everything, but then I don't know if I can handle it. It's devastating. She was a beautiful, beautiful soul.
A soul he's hoping the community can help lay to rest by seeking justice and finding the rest of her remains.
She's out there, and I need to find her to be able to put her to rest properly.
Tonight, this memorial outside Sade's job at Pizza Shuttle continues to grow. Her father says that he plans to make his way to Milwaukee to search for himself soon. He's also encouraging people to continue to search for areas where other body parts are found and also along the lakeshore. He tells me that a memorial has been set for May 10th, which is Sade's birthday. Now reporting live in Milwaukee.